Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers joining us live on Karmbhumi Ahmedabad. I welcome all with my co-founder Preeti Agyat. Today's conversation is on a subject that touches every human life: mind and yoga. In today's fast moving world, the body gets tired, but more than that, the mind gets restless. Ancient India understands this long ago, and yoga was never meant to be only exercise for the body. It was a path to balance the mind, emotions, and inner self. To guide us on this beautiful journey, today we have with us a very distinguished guest, Dr. Sajni Vaidya. A trained dental surgeon by profession, she has also deeply explored the spiritual and yogic wisdom of India. She is a certified yoga teacher and has authored two volumes on Bhagavad Gita. For the last 5 years, she has been sharing the timeless knowledge of Gita through online sessions, helping people connect ancient wisdom with modern life. Ma'am, it is truly a pleasure and honor to have you with us this evening. Welcome to Karmbhumi Ahmedabad. And now, without taking any more time, I would like to invite Dr. Sajni Vaidya to guide us on this beautiful journey of mind and yoga. Ma'am, the platform is all yours.
Thank you so much, Nirja. And I'm really grateful for you for giving me this opportunity today to share whatever I have learned. And I hope that this knowledge will be useful to all those who are listening to me today. I'll just put on my PowerPoint presentation so that we can have a continuous flow of ideas. Yes, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The title today of our conversation is The Mind and Yoga. As we know, it is our mind that helps us to perform in our life, whatever we do. If I cannot manage my mind, can I manage my time? Can I manage the other people around me? Can I manage unknown, ambiguous situations? If my mind is constantly reacting to people's words and emotions, can I manage my situations? Basically, what we need to understand is that every function we perform in our life depends on our state of mind. And most often, we are not in control of it. No school, no university, no college teaches us to understand this important tool that we have. So, how can we manage our lives without understanding how the mind functions? I'm going to go through my PowerPoint presentation. So, even if you can't read the slides, it's fine because I'm going to read each slide and then explain the things to you. We have this fantastic tool called the mind, but we never stop to find out how it works and how to make the most of it. This is a fantastic tool that we have. But as I said, no school, no university trains you to make the most of how we can use this tool. When we buy a new appliance, for example, a mobile or an iPad or a laptop, isn't it better to go through the instruction manual so that you get the most out of what features it offers? Any instrument we buy, we always look at the manual, understand how the washing machine or dishwasher works, and then we can get the best out of it. If we only press a few buttons of the mobile, we may be able to do something. But we cannot use the entire potential to the fullest. And similarly, it goes with the mind. We are using the mind just without any manual, without any guidance in how to make the most of it. We all know that life is a mind game, but have we ever learned to understand the working of this fantastic tool before using it? Knowing and understanding the mind early on will help us get the most out of our potential. This knowledge is given to us in the Upanishads, Vedas, and Yoga. So, our rishis and our senior ancient scientists, they knew and understood more about the mind, and how scientifically they had this knowledge is amazing. Much before the Western scientists understood what psychology is or what the mind game is. This knowledge was given to us some 2500 years ago by Maharshi Patanjali in the form of Yoga Sutras, and that knowledge is relevant even now. So you can imagine, thousands of years ago this knowledge has been with us, and yet it is not taught to every student in school. It's not taught to everyone who, because everyone needs to use the mind. Who doesn't use the mind? And the Patanjali Yoga Sutras is an ancient scripture, a document that has about 196 sutras, which give us an insight into how to make the most of the mind. First of all, how to understand the mind, and then how to maximize its use. Yoga is a very misunderstood word and mainly signifies body postures or asanas for better health. All the yoga classes that we go to don't give you as much insight into the mind as they do about body postures, so that it can help you be better and healthy. One hears of vinyasa yoga, steam yoga, dance yoga, but actually, yoga is mainly a scientific approach to using our minds to our best advantage. Imagine the power if we could control the mind rather than the mind controlling us. Most of the time, we are controlled by the mind. We do as the mind feels. मुझे ये मन किया आज मैंने वो कर लिया. So basically, it is the mind controlling us. So the mind controls even our emotions. I'm happy because my mind tells me to be happy. I'm sad because my mind is feeling sad. So we are slaves of the mind. But what yoga does is to teach us how to master this mind. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, he defines yoga as yog chitta vritti nirodh, which means yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. In plain English, if you understand it, yoga is the practice of quieting a chaotic mind. Now, what are fluctuations of the mind? Fluctuations of the mind are the thoughts that keep coming in the mind and going. So, mind is constantly having thoughts come in and go out. And these are fluctuations of the mind. And if we have too much of it, then the mind gets agitated. So, yoga helps us to practice quieting a chaotic mind. Why? Because a chaotic mind cannot function well. Whereas, if you have then clarity of the mind, then you can take proper decisions, and it helps in proper decision making in our life. Yogic science has a huge theory on the mind. We know the antakaran or the mind has four aspects: man, buddhi, chit, ahankar, depending on the functions it is performing. So these are not four different organs in the body, but these form the manas or the antakaran that we depend on, that makes our character and that guides us in what we do with our life. These four names are given just to distinguish the functions that are performed by the mind so that we understand how to use the mind better. Let us understand what these are. Man, buddhi, chit, and ahankar, along with the five senses. You know what the five senses are: seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling. These are our five senses. So, along with those five senses, these are the tools given to us with which we experience life. The mind collects information from the outside world through our five senses. And sometimes, without even evaluating what the response should be, we just immediately react to a situation. But what do we need to do? Let us understand that better. Ahankar is the I factor in you, which gives you a sense of identity. For example, I am Sajni Vaidya, I know that. I am a dentist, I know that. So it gives me a sense of identity, which helps me to distinguish myself from another person. It gives you that sense of identity. But sometimes this sense of identity becomes out of proportion, and then we say, oh, this person is ahankari, he is an egoist. That is because it has the sense of identity has gone beyond balance. Now, buddhi. What is buddhi? Buddhi is the discriminative intelligence, your intellect, that helps you to take decisions. Buddhi is limited to one's experience and information that one can recollect. So, the thoughts that come in our mind are then processed and analyzed by our intelligence. And on what basis does the intellect decipher this information? It is based on our experiences and our information that we have already stored in our memory. Chit is the pure individual awareness and a silo of memory. So there is this memory part also that's there in the mind, which depends on what we expose our five senses to. What am I listening to? What am I watching? What am I hearing? All this information is leaving an impression on your chit, which is a silo of memory. And then we have the mind or manas, which receives information from the outside world through our five senses, right? So let us understand more about the mind and how it functions. At least this much is clear: what is our antakaran? What is our inner being? It has these four functions. Now, understanding the mind better and how it works, it may be a little, more theoretical, but this knowledge will definitely help you to understand and control your mind. So, what are the functions of the mind? The mind has certain functions, and the intellect, buddhi, has also certain functions. So, once we understand the distinction between man and buddhi, we'll be able to use those functions better. What happens right now is that we have no clear distinction between intellect and mind, and so often we are functioning at the mind level without being conscious of the intellect. But when the intellect comes into play, we are able to analyze and make proper decisions and then react to a situation. So, what are the functions of the mind? The different functions are perception, which means when we see or hear or look at any situation, we perceive certain things. That is the function of the mind. We observe certain things, right? And then sometimes without analyzing this information, we also express. For instance, if I am looking at something beautiful which has impressed my mind, I will say, wow, it is so beautiful. If something has gone wrong and I am not happy with the outcome, I will immediately get angry or depressed at what is happening. So that expression is at the mind level without having any analysis done by the intellect. What the mind does is also to constantly oscillate between the past and the future. So we have thoughts that are related to our past, we have thoughts that are related to the future. So we are either angry or sad depending on what has happened in the past. Either we are feeling guilty over something that we have done in the past, or we are worrying about the future. Most of the time, the mind is either occupied with thoughts from our past experiences or from our worries about the future. So, anger, sadness, guilt are related to the past experiences. You won't feel sad thinking about what can happen in the future. You won't feel angry about something that has not yet happened. You won't feel guilty about something that has not yet happened. That has happened in the past. But we are still spoiling our future thinking about the past, which is no more, which is a dead history. Then insecurity, worry, anxiety, expectations, these are related to the future. So we keep worrying about the future. But when the mind is in the present tense, right now, when you're listening to this talk, you are aware, your mind is still and your mind is pleasant. It is neither angry nor sad. It is neither worried about the future, but it is in the present state of mind. That's why they say that being in the present is the best state the mind can be. Then the other function that the mind does, it keeps giving you alternatives and options all the time. For example, we get up in the morning, oh, shall I go back to sleep? Shall I sleep a little more? Or shall I get up and walk? Or shall I do my exercise? So, all these options are being given by the mind. Out of all the options that the mind gives us, we need to make one choice. We need to decide. And who helps us or what helps us to make those decisions? It is our intellect. It is the buddhi that makes you take proper choices. So let us understand a little bit more about the intellect or the buddhi. What are the functions of the intellect or buddhi? Whatever information is received by the mind through our five senses, it is analyzed and evaluated. Then what the mind does is also, it can also misunderstand a situation. It's not necessary that the intellect understands everything perfectly. Sometimes our intellect is depending on our past experiences. So if somebody, for instance, has done something wrong to you in the past, it is there in your mind somewhere in your memory. And today, even if he is doing something good for you, you may not understand that as goodness. You may still doubt his action. which can be a misunderstanding. This viparya or misunderstanding is the biggest hurdle in knowing the truth. So whenever we have a negative thought in our mind, we should do a reality check on it. That am I thinking correctly, or am I not understanding the situation? Before we decide or before we make our choice, we should do some analysis of our thoughts. Then the intellect helps us to make decisions out of the available options. So the mind is giving you options. Abhi utho, abhi khao, abhi piyo, meetha khao, ke tikha khao, ke khatta khao. What should be eating, what we should not be eating. All those decisions, all the options are given by the mind, but the decision is taken by the intellect. And that decision makes the direction of your own life. Why are we trying to understand the distinction between the mind and the intellect? So that we can make better decisions and better choices. Because our life depends on the choices we make at every step of the way, from morning to night, from the time we get up to the time we sleep, we are making choices. Some small, some big. But those choices can be better if we understand this distinction. Then the intellect also labels experiences as happy, as sad. So it is judgmental. The intellect can be judgmental, and it can also create in impressions on your memory about certain situations. For example, if I have enjoyed eating an ice cream, then the next time I see that particular flavor of ice cream, my mind tells me, oh, this is nice. I'm going to enjoy this. Whereas if it has been, say, a bad experience, if you have gone to a particular restaurant and your stomach has spoiled because of the food you eat, then next time you will remember that that experience was not good. So you're labeling experiences as happy, sad, etc. Then the intellect is also applying logic and justifying continuously. So, what happens is that even if we are doing something which is not really so good or not really beneficial to us, but we think, no, this is what I want to do, then I justify that action. For instance, if I am a diabetic and I should not be eating sweets, but yet one laddu is come in front of me, so what will I do? I will try and justify that action. कि मैंने तो अभी तक कुछ मीठा खाया नहीं है. I haven't had anything sweet so far. So let me just taste a little bit. And a little bit is not going to harm me. So that is how we justify continuously. So we need to understand what kind of thoughts we think and try and choose the right thoughts. We will come to that. So, here the distinction is between understanding the mind and understanding the intellect. Chit is a silo of memory. So, you have all experiences that that leave an impression on your mind. Conscious memory registers with form and name, and subconscious memory registers impressions and imprints. Like if an experience is sad or happy, that remains in your subconscious memory. Conscious memory, you'll remember that this person you met, this person's name is this. Similarly, those kind of memories are registered in your conscious memory. So, by training all four, your man, buddhi, chit, and ahankar, by training all four, your entire mind will be in your hands. Your thinking aspect, your memories, your eye sense. If all are trained and elevated to a certain level, you can handle any situation. So let us understand what are the different kinds or states of the mind. Now let us understand a little bit. Now we have understood the distinction between man, buddhi, chit, and ahankar, right? Now let us understand how many different states of mind we find ourselves in. The different states of mind are kshipt or restless, mood or lazy, vikshipt or restless. So vikshipt is either restless or focused, ekagra is focused, and niruddha is mastermind. So sometimes we are restless, sometimes we are impulsive, sometimes we are focused. So these are the different states of mind that a single person can be in at different times of the day, right? It is not necessary that we can classify one person as completely restless or completely lazy. No, it is different states of the mind. But what the yogis do, what the siddhas do, what people who want to control their mind do is try to be more focused. Why? Because then you can bring out the best potential in you. When you're focused on doing something and your mind is not wavering here and there, then you are able to perform 100%. And what is a niruddha mind? Person who has mastered his mind completely. And that is a siddha or a yug purush or a yogi who has put all this into practice. So, what is the takeaway here? What we need to understand is that we need to first understand what the mind is doing, what the intellect is doing, and try towards working towards a focused mind. We know that our mind is nothing but a constant flow of thoughts. These thoughts are based on the information we gather through our five senses, through books we read, through the social media and TV programs we watch and hear, through the company we keep and the environment we are exposed to. So, choosing these inputs wisely would influence the quality of your thoughts. So, how do we now understand to control the mind? By controlling the quality of thoughts that we have. And that depends on what? That depends on what we expose our mind to through our five senses. What is it that we are watching? What is it that we are hearing? What is it that we are tasting? What is it that we are touching? All this leaves an impression on the mind. And based on that, we have our thought process. So, this is very important. What we put into us is important. Thoughts. Now, let us understand a little more about the quality of thoughts that we think. Thoughts that we experience in our conscious mind are called vrittis. Mind, as we know, is nothing but a fluctuation of different thoughts that come. We cannot get rid of them, but we can control them. So let us understand what are the different thoughts that come and then how to choose the thought properly. For example, thoughts can be based on right knowledge. For example, now it is daytime. I can see that it is daytime. So it is praman, it is based on reliable sources also. Sometimes you know what is there in your textbooks or what the scriptures tell you or what your parents tell you, and that is based on right knowledge. But sometimes our thoughts are based on wrong knowledge also, on unreliable social media also. For instance, the radio, the social media, Facebook, YouTube, so much is available, but you don't know which is reliable, which is not. Then Our thoughts can be fanciful. I can think, oh, okay, I am the Maharani of Jodhpur, but am I? No, that's fanciful. It is far away from reality. So these are the different thought patterns that our mind is full of. And once we know that this thought is not based on right knowledge, then it will stop bothering me. Sometimes thoughts are as in sleep. Our faculties don't work. Our mind is influenced by dreams that can be restless or happy depending on the state of mind. So sometimes the mind is not active at all. And most importantly, thoughts depend on the memories we ponder on. For example, if somebody has said something hurtful to me years ago, I remember that, I keep thinking about it, I keep repeating that thought in my mind. And what happens? I am hurting myself more than that person who said it once. But I have empowered that thought, and by not ignoring it, I hurt myself over and over again. So, cleansing the mind of useless garbage, just like our parents do during spring cleaning and Diwali, is a must. And how do we do that? We do that through meditation and pranayam. We will come to that, how yoga helps us to cleanse the mind. So we saw how there are different thoughts. Some are based on true knowledge, some are misleading knowledge, some are fanciful, some are dependent on our past experiences and past memories. So we have to understand which thought right now is bothering me. Why am I unhappy? Am I justified in being happy or unhappy at this time? Happiness is fine. We all want to be happy. And the purpose of life is to have a happy experience of this world. But we make ourselves unhappy by encouraging negative thoughts in our mind unnecessarily. उसने ऐसे कहा था so many years ago, she my friend said something wrong about me, how could she criticize me like this? We keep all these negatives for festering in our mind and not get rid of it. And what happens? It's not the other person who's bothered. The person who said it has forgotten. But we are hurting ourselves and creating negative currents in our own body. And these negative currents can make you sick. So, what we need to do, we have to develop the ability to choose which thoughts to empower and which to let go. This can come only through total awareness and developing the intellect, which is our discriminating faculty. Most of the time, we act at the mind level. किसी ने कुछ कहा तो बिगड़ो. Tell them immediately what you think. If somebody has not done something that you expect them to do, you will get angry immediately with them and say something that we may regret later. So we are that at that time we are acting at the level of the mind, not the intellect. But when you take 2 seconds to analyze your thought, then you will respond more intelligently. You will not react. What we need to understand is the distinction between the mind and the intellect. The mind reacts to the input from your senses. The intellect discriminates and decides and then responds. So, watching over the quality and quantity and direction of your thoughts is very, very necessary. And no one teaches us this when we are in school, when we are growing up, when we are at that age where we are so emotional that sometimes we drive ourselves to committing suicides. The kind of depression that youngsters go through is what? is because they have never been taught how to think correctly, how to ignore negative thoughts, and how to enforce positive thinking. Now, let us examine what causes the agitations of the mind. We feel sad, we feel angry, we feel agitated. How do we do that? Based on what? Here, yoga says the main source of our thoughts are our desires, our likes, and dislikes. Unfulfilled desires cause frustration, anger, jealousy, greed. When such a mind overpowers you, one thinks and acts wrongly, gets deluded, and will not be able to see repercussions. This is what is happening to our youth now. How depressed and negative they become. This is because we have these strong likes and dislikes and ambitions that have been drilled into our mind. And if something doesn't go the way we want it to go, we get depressed, we get agitated, we get angry. Our thoughts, our likes, our dislikes, our desires, also unnecessary, unfounded fears. ये क्या होगा if I go home and show my report to my parents? Oh, they are going to beat the hell out of me, so I might as well just run away. That is what youngsters think. Sometimes our old memories don't let go. We don't let go of our old memories and old hurts, and that's why we get depressed. So we have to understand, what is it that causes this agitation? Is it my desire? Is it my likes? Is it my dislikes? Is it my fear? What is causing? And am I justified in thinking like that? Once I understand and use my intellect, then I won't behave through my reaction alone. I will just not react to a situation negatively. So, what do we need to have to make right choices? A balanced mind. A calm and balanced mind is able to make right choices. Keeping the mind uncluttered and our intellect sharp needs a lot of regular training. And these techniques are taught in yoga. For instance, the one thing that yoga tells us to do is introspection of your mind and thoughts on a daily basis. At the end of the day, if we spend 5 minutes to recollect what I did during the day, could I have made it better? Did I unnecessarily get angry with my house help? Did I unnecessarily slap my child? Could I have handled it better? So, when we do an introspection at the end of the day, we find out how our thoughts are guiding our life. And we then get into the habit of choosing correct thoughts, choosing thoughts that are beneficial to us rather than choosing thoughts that are negative. And how do we ignore negative thoughts? Sometimes these negative thoughts control your mind and you're not able to get rid of them. In that case, yoga tells us to do pranayam, to do meditation, and I'll tell you why and how this helps. Or to distract your mind totally from these negative thoughts, you change the focus of your thoughts to something else, or you focus your mind on your breathing. So, there are techniques that are taught in yoga which help you to have a more balanced mind so that we can take proper choices. Human beings are the only creatures with intellect. Using this intellect before desiring, thinking, speaking, acting will make your life happier and full of right purpose. Sometimes we say things without thinking, we hurt people without thinking, and then we regret it all our lives. It destroys relationships. Sometimes we want something so badly that we go to any extent to get it. We take huge loans that we cannot pay back and destroy our financial status. So it is always very, very helpful to have a balanced state of mind and to think correctly. See, our ancients knew the importance of mind and emotions on health. They knew that chronic stress is the single important factor in causing various diseases. So, an imbalanced mind will also lead to stress, will also lead to illnesses. Our ancients knew how to use breath as a tool to restore optimal body functions and counter stress. Using of breath, controlling of breath is called pranayam. Practice of voluntary breath control influences the pranas that control the involuntary activity in the body. And this practice is called pranayam. See, there are certain physiological functions happening in the body, like breathing. We breathe without our conscious control, like the circulation, that blood is flowing all around in our body. That is happening without our conscious control. It's an involuntary activity. Digestion is happening, it is an involuntary activity. Excretion of waste products through sweat and through anus is involuntary activity. So these are all controlled by the panch pranas that are there functioning in our body. And when we control our breath, we are also controlling this pranas. And this practice is called pranayam. Pran is breath control, ayam is control, prana is pran. So, pranayam teaches you to recharge your body and control your mental state by regulating the flow of prana, the life force. So, the life force is not just the breath we take, it is the cosmic energy that comes through the breath we take, which keeps us alive. And we are learning to regulate this flow of prana. The pranamay kosh connects the annamay kosh to the manomay kosh. Most of us you may know this or you may not be aware of it, but we have panch koshas. Our body is not just this physical body that we see. This physical body that we see, touch, and can feel it is the annamay kosh, made of the food we eat. But we also have the mental body, our antakaran, man, buddhi, chit, ahankar, our five senses. All that is the subtle body or astral body or manomay kosh. And we also have the pranamay kosh, which is the breath body. Our breath is keeping this body alive, the Annamay Kosh alive. And the Pranamay Kosh connects the Annamay Kosh to the Manomay Kosh. Beyond these two koshes are the Jnanamay Kosh and the Anandamay Kosh. Jnanamay Kosh is your buddhi or intellect, and Anandamay Kosh is your causal body, the reason why we come to this world. So the point that we need to understand here is that pranayam works because it connects the physical body to the mental body. Hence, through breath control or pranayam, it is possible to control the mind. Very important. Yeah. Let us see If you have realized, you will understand the relationship between breath and emotions. Sometimes when we are angry, our breath is heavy. When we are in a stressful situation, our breath is heavy. Whereas when we are light-hearted, we are breathing lightly. When we are calm, we are breathing lightly. We can check our pulse to see how our heart is behaving and how our breath is behaving at different state of mind that we are in. If we are restless and agitated, it will be different. If we are calm and quiet, it will be different. So there is a relationship between breath and emotions. Similarly, by controlling the breath, you can change your emotions. If you're feeling sad, by breath control, you can make it calm and you can become happy. So, what we need to do, the takeaways from this lesson that I want you to remember is that we have to work, first of all, towards a focused mind, towards understanding whether it is the mind which is functioning or the intellect. Give your intellect the opportunity to analyze before you react to a situation. And these techniques can help you to control your mind better, which is rhythmic breathing and Brahmari. At the end of the lecture, we will try and do some techniques of pranayam so that you can practice it on your own as well. Be aware of your thoughts. Very, very important message that I want to give through this talk of mine is that you must be aware of your thoughts and choose which thoughts to empower and which to ignore. Work on the clarity of mind. Whenever you're agitated, whenever you're unhappy, don't react. Take a few minutes, do some breathing exercises, just do some deep breathing before you go on to get angry with somebody. And you will see that your mind is calm again and it is telling you to act differently. So these are techniques like square breathing, Nadi Shuddhi, Brahmari. We'll be doing these techniques so that you will know how to control your anger, how to control your mind, how to control your reactions to a situation that you don't like. Because the goal of learning yoga is to experience joy, meaning, and purpose in living. This brings me to the end of my presentation. And now I would like to, I hope that you enjoyed and I was able to give you a few tips on becoming happier and living in a happier state of mind because it is a choice we make. Being happy, being sad is a choice we make on a daily basis at every moment. Even in dire circumstances, you'll find people who can be calm and pleasant, whereas in little ordinary circumstances, some people get agitated. This is all training the mind to react properly by using the intellect. So, thank you so much for your patient listening. And we would like to do a few exercises I'd like to teach you pranayam. If you can do with me, it's fine, but I'll just give you the basics. One is Nadi Shuddhi, which is alternate nostril breathing. We have these nadis in our body, and our prana moves through these nadis. So when we do Nadi Shuddhi, we are balancing the pranas in our body, right? So by for Nadi Shuddhi, you need to close one nostril with the thumb, the other with the two fingers. Breathe first through the left nostril, close both the nostrils and breathe out through the right. Then breathe in through the right, breathe out through the left. This is one cycle. So you do 5 cycles like this of alternate nostril breathing, which are Nadi Shuddhi. This also helps in bringing down your blood pressure. It also brings deep sleep. It helps in improving the quality of your sleep if you do it, practice it before you go to bed. The other pranayam that can help you calm your mind is called square breathing, where you breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out, hold your breath. So it is like you breathe in 4 counts, hold your breath 4 counts, breathe out 4 counts, wait 4 counts before you breathe in again. So it is like a square. You, if you keep in your mind, it helps you to do this. We'll practice it once. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 2, 3, 4. So continuing at least 5 to 7 cycles of square breathing will help you calm your mind immediately. When you practice it, you experience the difference. It's not just by saying that you will know, but when you practice it, you will know, you will experience that your mind is much calmer, right? And then there is Brahmari, where you make a humming sound. You breathe in, and then when you breathe out, you do, continuously. You do that 5 or 7 times, and that also helps to bring down and calm your mind. So these are just few examples of pranayam that I'm telling you, but there are many that you can learn from any of the yoga classes that you go to. And the other thing that really helps is meditation. Regular meditation, regular pranayam helps you to cleanse your mind of negativity. It's a big advantage, and it will really change the quality of your life and make you a much happier person, right? So this brings me to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take. I can't hear you.
मेजा जी अनम्यूट कीजिए.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Vaidya for sharing such valuable insights with us this evening. These are the reminders we need very often to to become positive, to remain positive rather. Today's discussion reminded us that yoga is not merely about physical postures, but about calming the mind, understanding the self, and learning to live with balance and awareness. Your words beautifully connected the timeless wisdom with the challenges of modern life. In a world full of noise, stress, and endless distractions, conversations like these become a quiet lamp in the darkness. Thank you, ma'am, for bringing both wisdom and warmth to this platform. And heartfelt thanks to all our viewers who joined us live today and will watch later on also. Do stay connected with Karm Bhumi Ahmedabad for more such meaningful sessions. Namaste and have a peaceful evening. Thank you.